Hi, my name is Harry Archer, and I am a consultant at the Colorado School of Mines Writing Center. Active listening can be defined as a productive activity containing reflection and feedback from listener to speaker. In this way, active listening challenges the notion that communication is simply the sending of a preconceived message from one person to another. Instead, in this view, communication is an act of co-production between interlocutors. Some common mistakes when it comes to listening include interrupted listening, talking past one another, and pretending to listen. Interrupted listening occurs when a conversational partner is so eager to add their perspective to another person's story that they actually interrupt and distort what that person was attempting to express. We might find this commonly occurring when someone tells a story about their weekend and is met by another story that is barely related or misses the essential qualities of the original story. Talking past one another is similar, but is typically more intentional and motivated. We can find this when speakers are so determined to get specific talking points out into a forum that they do not address any of the points made by the other speaker. We typically associate talking past with political discourse that does not seek any kind of genuine dialogue or consensus. Pretending to listen occurs when a conversational partner lapses into using convincing listening signals but is not in fact taking anything in from the conversation. What are some best practices for avoiding these pitfalls? Remember that listening is an activity, and like any activity, some actual work is involved, and a participant cannot be passive. In this sense, a listener co-produces communication by engaging the speaker to clarify the message at hand. Using reflection and feedback, an active listener can help by asking questions such as, "What do you mean when you say this or that?" The response amounts to a restatement using different terms, but sometimes these new terms are better for the audience and the speaker in improving everyone's understanding. Nonverbal communication is important for letting others know that you are present in the conversation. You might well be listening but remaining entirely silent or avoiding eye contact. This works in a lecture theatre, but in a small group or a pair, speakers require a degree of performed co-presence. We can achieve that by using certain vocal fills, nodding our head, and expressing interest in our faces. Of course, these techniques can appear unnatural and off-putting to speakers if they are used too much. We have covered common mistakes and techniques for making us more active listeners. Central to a conversation regarding listening is silencing. It is quite possible that would-be speakers are denied the opportunity to get their message out because of behaviors we deploy either in a knowing or unknowing fashion. Dr. Carolyn Cusack developed the following categories for silencing from her doctoral research. Intentional silencing describes situations where we actively prevent another person from voicing using material means at our disposal. We might think of moments where individuals or groups are denied certain communication platforms. Incidental silencing occurs when an audience fails to acknowledge that certain contents of a person's message are worthy of response. In this case, we might have made an argument or an analytic point, but that insight goes unheard or unheeded. Indirect silencing occurs when an audience mishears or misunderstands the speech of others. This can occur when listeners are not prepared or willing to do the work of listening to a foreign accent. Selective silencing occurs when speakers adjust their content to anticipate what is more likely to be heard by the audience. For instance, in STEM institutions in the US American context, perhaps speakers are reluctant to bring up issues that might be considered unpopular to a predominantly white male audience, such as concerns over inclusion and diversity. To observe the subtle instances of silencing that occur in everyday life, keep a notebook on your person for 1 week and record moments when you have been silenced in any one of these ways. Ask a colleague to do the same and compare your observations. How do these experiences shift with gender, race, and age? We can observe silencing not only on the individual level, but across entire communities. To this effect, Dr. Jess Wade of Imperial College London has sought to address the gender imbalance in STEM by writing over 280 Wikipedia entries in 2017 and many more in 2018 on women in science and scientists from other underrepresented groups. Wade is attempting to change the grounds upon which certain topics and people are considered worthy or unworthy of response through incidental silencing. For instance, the topic of inclusivity in the STEM disciplines is incidentally silenced, and depending on your point of view, women in STEM may have been intentionally silenced by being denied platforms for research and notoriety. In sum, practicing active listening and challenging silencing behaviors when they happen can help build a more inclusive and diverse STEM institution.